Hi everyone, my name is Philip. I'm from Pandolfini Architects and I'll be presenting our Glen Iris House. The home is located on a leafy green street of Glen Iris in Melbourne's eastern suburbs between High Street and Wattle Tree Road. We were given the opportunity to design a new home for a family of 5 and their 2 dogs. The home is composed of 3 pavilions placed within a beautiful landscape by Mud Office. To the front of the site, we have the bedroom pavilion. To the rear, the garage pavilion, and to the centre, we have the living pavilion. The central living pavilion is pushed to the south to create a large courtyard to the north. Connecting each of these pavilions is a glass link. The links are oversized and the exterior finishes travel inside, blurring the line between in and out and creating a feeling of walking through the garden. Separation of the pavilions is further enhanced by the level change, so you're stepping down from each pavilion into the next. The floor plan. So the front bedroom pavilion has 4 generous bedrooms, all with en-suites and separate lounge spaces for the adults and kids. The central living pavilion contains all the communal spaces, so the living, kitchen, dining, and an amenities zone. And the garage workshop to the rear is for the client's car collection. So that fits 4 cars in the back. So the main thing we noticed in this pocket of Glen Iris is the predominant use of terracotta tiled roofs, all with intricate detailing and ornamentation. Homes from the inner war period to the early 2000s all continued to incorporate this same terracotta. We were therefore presented with an enduring, timeless material. Drawing inspiration from the surrounding context, we wanted to come up with something that spoke to the streetscape, yet inverted the use of these same materials to create a new experience for the neighbourhood. So the front contemporary volume is wrapped in a terracotta skin. The skin is made up of a terracotta brickwork, using it vertically, horizontally and diagonally. The brickwork helped create a similar undulating appearance as the neighbouring roofs. And this idea of a singular terracotta skin that wrapped the volume is enhanced by using a matching watercolour, finishing it flush with the bricks and then smearing it over the surface to create a clear, singular expression. This terracotta reference continues through the interior, revealing itself as you journey through the home. This eventually led to the evolution of a robust tonal palette that was an extension of the exterior. So similar to the outer skin, the internal walls and floors are wrapped in a singular surface, whether it be the kids' bathrooms in a pink tile, the main ensuite and robes in a travertine and textured wallpaper, or the entry corridor walls in American oak patterns. Unlike the contemporary form for the front facade, the living pavilion goes back to a more traditional barn form. Contrasting the bedroom pavilion, where we had a terracotta skin that wrapped around the structure, the living pavilion stripped off this outer layer to expose the bones. So the living barn is a series of 6 concrete ribs, exposed externally and internally. And this goes back to the client's original brief, where they had sent us a bunch of images of ruins, bunkers and industrial buildings, all with honest raw materials and where the structural elements stood strong. To soften the solid masses of concrete, we punctured the walls with a series of arches and curved forms. This helped capture moments of the beautiful landscape and the glimpses of the exterior terracotta forms. It also helped frame views of the interior spaces, so you can see the kitchen being framed by the concrete rib. And spatially, the ribs delineated the living, dining, kitchen and amenities zone. So the concrete ribs were poured in situ and range from 400 to 800 mil thick. They're highly detailed, so they conceal downpipes, electrical cabling, rebates for window frames, and cavity sliding doors. Once the concrete was stripped of its formwork, the ribs were sandblasted on site to create a raw textured surface. Each of the ribs are unique in character, so you get moments where there's large clusters of aggregate and other spots where there's very little. And this tells a story of how the aggregate in the concrete mix travelled down the formwork and eventually settled. Between the concrete ribs, we then inserted a series of sculptural objects and volumes made up of softer, warmer materials to contrast the rawness of the concrete. The amenities pod. So this houses the laundry, pantry, powder room and an office and sits to the back of the pavilion. The The pod is wrapped in a singular American oak finish to accentuate the form, with all pivot and joinery doors concealed behind the same material. Inside, a hidden powder room is lined in terracotta tiles, a jewellery box moment and reference to the terracotta exterior. The fireplace, so a sculptural fireplace, is inserted between the living and dining and is wrapped in terracotta, blackened stainless and a hard plaster. The curved hard plaster provides relief from the raw concrete. And then lastly, the travertine wrapped banquette and American oak kitchen island in the centre of the pavilion. All these objects create nesting spaces for the family to sit, eat and socialise around. The banquette form also punctures outside into the courtyard. Externally, it creates another nesting space, this time with an outdoor table for the family to gather around. Between the concrete ribs, the ceiling is wrapped in spotted gum. This initiates movement and expresses the depth of the barn form. The travertine tiled floor adds warmth and is filled with a matching grout colour to create a uniform surface through the space. To the rear, the garage pavilion pays homage to the previous pavilions. Terracotta brickwork, concrete walls, and arched window gestures all introduced once more. The workshop is very much treated as part of the home rather than an outbuilding. We worked very closely on the interior details and ensured all design decisions linked back to the overall aesthetic of a raw, textured, warm palette. All stone selections, fabrics, door and joinery hardware, lighting and furniture were carefully considered to ensure a consistent quality was achieved. This is a home we are immensely proud of and love the entire journey with the client, builder, dome, and all consultants involved. Thank you.